Hey guys, Cortiana here. This is going to be my recap for the fourth stop of the Major League Fishing Pro Circuit 2022 on Lake Guntersville. Had a fantastic event here, moved up every day in the standings and almost made the top 10 on day 3. I had several key baits. I'm going to share those with you today, show you the rods, techniques, everything. So I would say the bulk of my weight, well, that's not even fair. I had 3 baits that really caught big ones throughout the tournament. But one of the ones that's going to be the most memorable for me is this Booyah trap right here. I believe this color is Sunrise. It's my wife's favorite color. It's kind of a raspberry color. It's got a chartreuse belly on it with a little orange nose. Not a color probably those fish saw a lot. It's the main reason I picked it up and tried it in practice, and it worked. But the bass there were some still spawning on Guntersville, but there was a lot of bluegill spawning. There was shad spawning. Guntersville has gold shiners, it has yellow perch, it has a lot of bait. But the bluegill beds were a big deal for me and what was working for me, and I learned more about it every day. But that's what this was for me. This was imitating a bluegill, and those bluegill were spawning in the shallow flats that had shell and clumps of eelgrass, and so there'd be isolated holes in the eelgrass. Dude, that shell bed that's right here, I just had you look at, I literally just watched a 5 or 6 pound, there he is again, he's swimming through it. Look, he's right down there. Dude, he's right down there in that shell bed. You see him right here on the right? Look at him, now he's going back left. You see that fish? And the water was so clear from all the vegetation now at Guntersville. It was so clear you actually see these shell beds, and they'd light up when the sun hit them. They'd be almost white or light blue, you could tell. It was a hard bottom, and then you'd see these clumps of eelgrass, either looking over there with your Lowrance active target, or sometimes you could see with your eyes when the light was just right. If you had the opportunity to throw a moving bait like this Booyah rattle trap, if you could burn it through where them shell cracker beds were, those bluegill beds were, there was a real good chance it would stop it like you hit a wall, and it was a big one. There was a lot of bass in there. I got up on top of it a couple times towards the end of day 3. There's another one. There's another big bass right there, dude. Another one. Look at that one. And I was blown away by the number of big bass that were roaming those shell beds. So that was a big deal. And I was throwing that. This is a 7.2 feeling reel, Kistler feeling reel. This is on a 7.3-1 Kistler Series 1 reel. These reels are fantastic, easy to tune, cast a mile, great drag system. I had it on 17-pound fluorocarbon. Again, if you could throw that, and the reason I say if is there are so much eelgrass shallow in Guntersville with a ton of boat traffic. The boat propellers are tearing that up, and all this eelgrass is floating across the surface, and at times you can't fish. You cannot fish a moving bait. It is so piled up on the surface, it just gets on your line, tracks down to your bait, and within a couple of cranks your bait's fouled up. A lot of times you just land in a clump of it that you can't see. And so depending on wind and current and boat action, you could have a spot that was really good that you couldn't fish, but all of a sudden you'd get a brief moment. On day 3, I had that brief moment on one of my shell beds where the bluegill were spawning, and I made a cast in here, had the live camera on me. And I already had a 5, a heavy 4, a good 3, and I was sitting on a couple 2-pounders, and I knew I was one big bite away. I set the hook on one, my drag just starts pulling drag on this baby, and I told the cameraman, this is the one.
Some guys get a cast that's completely ruined where the eelgrass blows in there, so you can't throw a hook or bait with treble hooks in there.
There he is. Biggin, stripping drag. Stripping drag, dude. This is the one, EK. Fight it all the way to the boat. Turns out I got 2 on this guy. I got a 4-pounder on one hook, a heavy 4, and a solid 3+ on the other. Got them a little bit balled up in grass right behind the boat, and they both came off on the surface. And so if you watched live, you saw that. It's unfortunate, no doubt.
Phoenix replay at some pain here for Kyle Cortiana. Late day pain that would have helped in all likelihood.
You get 2 big fish like that on, and they're both fighting against those treble hooks. Sometimes it's just not a lot you can do.
So many times those treble hooks will play against each other.
Oh, you see both of them right there.
Oh, yeah.
God.
that was heartbreak for me. If I catch those, I make top 10. Of course, I jump some fish off every day of the tournament. But anyway, that's a big deal. Guys, I show you these all the time. The Cal Coast bait sacks, Tackle Works bait sacks. These things are fantastic. Any of your treble hook baits, you just drop them in there and you can run your little line around this little clip on the back so the bait don't pull out. You clip to the blank of your rod, and I use them. Oh my gosh, they're incredible. There's just no hooks in the seats, no mess in your rod box, no mess on the deck. Whenever you grab your treble hook bait, it's not hooked to something else. You just pop it off this rod, swing the line out, and there's your bait. And then you can just pop it back in there when you're done. It's really that simple. And these things are incredible, and they're like 10 bucks. So go get you some of those. So yeah, rattle trap, big deal. Caught a ton of fish on a jerkbait. Lost a ton of fish on a jerkbait. I was throwing a deep diving jerkbait. I had a shallow jerkbait tied on. I had like 3 different jerkbaits tied on that I was trying with different hook sizes, and just trying to get it through that grass and get the bites and not lose them. I was throwing this. This is a prototype jerkbait rod that I'm working on with Kistler. This is not the exact length I'm going to use. This one's a 7 foot. I'm going shorter than this, but it is a prototype I'm working on. I've got a few different lengths I'm playing with, but I'm going to get it just perfect for you guys before I'm happy with releasing it. I was throwing it on 15-pound fluorocarbon. This is again a Series 1 7 3-to-1 gear ratio. Again, bait sack. This is a medium-sized bait sack. The one I had before was a small. Like I said, all my treble hook baits are in them. But this deeper jerkbait, I had a few places where eelgrass was growing out in 12, 14 foot. Milfoil. There was milfoil that transitioned into eelgrass. The milfoil was out deeper, and I was working those deeper clumps with that, and I could literally find them with my active target, and a lot of times watch this big bass come up and follow my jerkbait, and then eat it. Gotta eat that cut. Good one. Good one. Yes, sir. Boat turn, so he's on the net side. Good one. No! And unfortunately, you know, it's just when you're dealing with little treble hooks like that, sometimes they jump, those mean fish, they thrash their head around like a pit bull, and it just comes off. And I lost 2 5-pounders on day 2, I lost 2 4s on day 1, and so a little bit of heartbreak. But you know, we caught almost 16 pounds on day 1, caught 19.3 on day 2, and had 17.5 I think on day 3, and just missed making the top 10. We finished tied for 16th place. I think we ended up getting 17th place points. Well, I don't know what the tiebreaker was, but so 17th place, and so I had a great event there. The other thing that you're going to watch me catch a bunch of them on, if you've watched the videos, this is a new color by Yum. I talked about that eelgrass being tough to fish, and on those where those bluegill were spawning on those shell beds. I could take this weightless Yum dinger, and this is a new color, and they call it Money. You can see I still got eelgrass, or I still got grass on there from it. But they call this color Money, and I'm telling you, it made us some money this week. And I don't know if you can see it. It's got kind of a dark black green pumpkin with some gold flake in it. Kind of transitions almost to a laminate, kind of a chartreuse with some gold fleck in it. Anyway, I was just throwing that completely weightless. Those bluegill were spawning in, you know, just a couple of foot of water, and I was throwing it completely weightless and just letting that Yum dinger do what it does, you know, and let it fall down there, and has that nice cool fall to it where it shimmies. And man, they were eating that thing up. I got down to where I only had 2 of them left. I was worried about running out. And something I showed on the live camera, it's really important. A lot of stickworms out there for you guys to choose from, but the Yum dinger has something unique about it that's going to help you catch more fish. So the Yum dinger, I'm gonna unrig this so you can see it. See this little slot right here in the Yum dinger? Right there on the back side of the worm. Right there. That's the slot. That's the slot I'm talking about. It's a groove in the worm. And so when you're rigging this up, you're going to Texas rig it, and the groove of that worm that I'm talking about, you're going to puncture the worm through that groove. Okay, so I'm hooking it into that groove, and the reason I'm doing that, so now it's the hook's into that groove. When I get a bite and I set the hook on this, okay, this hook comes out, the worm slides up, right? The worm slides down, and that's out there. But also what's happening is that groove, the shank of the hook's going into that groove. So it's pushing more hook out on the backside, and it's not having to go through worm because it's got this little slit in there. Anyway, I think that's a unique feature about the Yum Dinger. Very important for me. I like having as much hook on the backside of that worm to grab that fish as I can have. Caught several good fish on this. I think my biggest fish on day 3 came on this one, or my second biggest fish, I can't remember, but I caught several of them on this.
Keep bouncing around between these guys, shallow and deep, shallow and deep.
Is the line taking off?
That's a good one. It's a good one. Oh my gosh, we need that one, guys. Young money dinger. We're just gonna keep him down best we can. We got a little patch of eelgrass we're trying to shake free of our line. There we go. No! There we go, guys. Just like that, the old Young Money Dinger. I told you that Young Money Dinger saved my butt.
And it kind of saved my tail a little bit in those areas where I could not fish the moving baits. I did catch a lot of really good fish on a chatterbait in practice. I can't remember if I think I may have caught one in the tournament on this, but I caught a lot of biggins on this in pre-practice. And again, that's that Seeker chatterbait, that same color that I used at Pickwick. It's that kind of blue herring color that me and Bobby come up with. And man, just they'd throw that up there and burn it through that eelgrass, and they were clobbering it a lot like they were doing that rattle trap, but they liked that Booyah trap, that one knocker, a lot better. But when I was doing this is a 7.3 medium heavy. This is not the feeling reel. This is something I can rip through grass and it break free a little bit better. Series 1 reel, 17-pound fluorocarbon. If I left anything out, just put it in the comments below. I'll respond as fast as I can. So anyway, I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you guys. And if you got any questions, again, just put them down there in the comments. I'll get to them as soon as I can. But we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.